Do you often find yourself constantly busy? Everything around you feels very important and needs to be done as early as possible. Everything feels urgent. But despite doing all of that and being busy all the time, you feel like you are never actually making significant progress. Then you are likely suffering from a mere urgency illusion. Meaning you are prioritizing tasks that are screaming for your attention over the tasks that actually matter. To fix this, we use the Eisenhower Matrix. So the Eisenhower Matrix is actually named after the 34th US President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Eisenhower was a five-star general during World War II before being elected as president and serving two presidential terms from 1953 to 1961. And in addition to leading the Allied forces to victory in the war, Eisenhower also oversaw the creation of NASA, the American Interstate Highway System, and new civil rights legislation, all while navigating the United States through the Korean conflict and the instigation of the Cold War. And so you can understand that without a doubt, he had a really busy schedule, a really complicated schedule. So Eisenhower developed a system that helped him sort his activities and demands into matters that were most important and identify the most vital processes to serve those important elements. So this mental model is a deceptively simple time management tool. It forces you to evaluate your tasks across two distinct metrics. One is the urgency, which are the tasks that require your immediate attention, and the other one is the importance, that are the tasks that contribute to your long-term mission and goals. So this creates a four quadrant grid. In the quadrant one, you will have all the tasks which are urgent and important, which needs to be done immediately. The quadrant 2 has all the important but non-urgent tasks which you can schedule it for a little bit later. The quadrant 3 has the urgent but not important tasks which can be delegated to someone else. And the quadrant 4 has not important and not urgent tasks which you should definitely remove from your to-do lists. So let's understand a little bit more about what type of tasks exactly fall in each of these quadrants. The top row of the matrix represents the most important obligations or responsibilities that we have in our lives. For work, this might include the most pertinent aspects which are there in our job responsibilities. For personal matters, it could mean directing our efforts towards our health and sustaining our relationships, etc. So the tasks that fall in the category of being important, they can either be done immediately, which need to be done immediately, but not all of them require to be done immediately. Some can be put on the back burner, and that's where the urgency metric comes in. So in the quadrant 1, there will be duties and responsibilities that need to be completed immediately, let's say by the end of today or tomorrow at the very latest. Every other important thing that does not need to be done immediately can be planned and put into the quadrant 2. So plan the tasks. It could include setting up a future meeting, or it could include studying or reading class materials or work documents. So these tasks can be scheduled after you have put off the fires from the tasks in the first quadrant. Now, one thing to be mindful about the tasks in the quadrant 2 is that these not urgent tasks deprioritize them too much, and we have the psychology of doing that. These tasks run into an emergency and soon become a part of your first quadrant. Now, moving to the third quadrant, which is the not important tasks, but they feel urgent. And these are usually the tasks are which are assigned to you, let's say while you are in a work environment. These are tasks that might really need to be done, but it's not vital for you to take care of them yourself, even if you could. Example, taking phone calls, emails, tending to ongoing family situations, and so forth. When you are leading a team, you should be able to find someone else who is best able to take care of these tasks. And finally, there are some activities that are neither important nor time sensitive to the priorities at hand. For example, social media, binge watching, unnecessarily long phone calls, etc. If you ever want to shock yourself and see how much these small things add up, install some of the applications or tracker on your computer or phone to see how much time you log on truly useless pursuits. This doesn't mean you can't ever do them, but when you are in the middle of other important items that need your immediate attention, take them off your plate completely. So, the secret to this matrix is not just categorizing your work, it is realizing that the most successful professionals spend the majority of their time in quadrant 2. So, why is the Eisenhower matrix so critical? It's because the human psychology is wired to react to immediate stimuli. A ringing phone, a pinging email, or a colleague tapping on your shoulder all triggers a sense of urgency. We get a dopamine hit from crossing these quick items off our list, tricking ourselves into feeling productive. And you can relate this to the underlying psychology behind the Sturgeon's law, another mental model that we discussed previously. However, being busy does not mean we are being effective. In complex industries, value is created through deep work, strategic planning, and relationship building. And these are all quadrant 2 activities. They are highly important, but they never come with a loud alarm clock. If you do not actively defend your time for quadrant 2, your days will be entirely consumed by quadrant 1 crisis and quadrant 3 interruptions. So, this matrix forces you to pause, evaluate the true ROI of a task, and shift from a reactive posture to a proactive strategy. So, the Eisenhower matrix teaches us harsh but a necessary truth. What is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important. You cannot manage your time, you can only manage your focus. So, stop letting your inboxes dictate your priorities. You need to ruthlessly apply this matrix, and eventually, you will stop putting out fires and start building the infrastructure to prevent them from happening in the first place. So next time you write your to-do lists, don't just write down what needs to be done. Put it in this grid and protect your quadrant 2 and watch your work and career compound.